Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of EPM Chronicles and Confessions. Today we've got Ankit Tanna. Ankit, could you please introduce yourself and your EPM journey?
Yes, definitely, Tim. Thank you so much, first of all, for inviting me into this podcast. Before I begin about myself, I would like to really appreciate the efforts which you are putting, in bringing this community, bringing people all together, yeah, where we can share about our ideas, we can know the latest trends which is happening in the market, and we can help possibly with each other. With the help of this community which you are trying to build. And I definitely know that it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, so it's really commendable, the job which you are doing, and really thankful for inviting me onto this podcast.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you.
So if I go to my personal professional experience, I would say, so I have been coming from technology background, and my EPM journey started almost 12 years ago when I got hired by a big consultancy company as a fresher. Yeah, I would be very honest. At that point of time, yeah, EPM, I never heard of it. What it is? Yeah, I only knew C++, Java because that's where I was trained on it. But on my first project, when I started, to work for one of the big banking client in Scotland, I get to know about HFM. Yeah, and that's where I came to EPM world, and since then, there is no go back to Java world or C++ world. Yeah, so over the time, I have grown myself. Yeah, I got trained on a couple of Oracle, initially Oracle tools like HFM, Aspace, FBM, ODI as well. And yeah, I also progressed on various positions, initially as a software consultant, then senior consultant, team lead, manager, and senior manager. And yeah, I worked with consultancies like TCS, Deloitte, ENY. I work for clients in US, UK, Europe region as well. Yeah. Um, and from last 4 years, I've been working more into data side of projects. And from 2 years, I'm also running my own company, which is ATCON Global, where we are not only working on EPM as such, but we are also focusing on digital and data transformation projects as well.
Thank you. So, have you encountered any misconceptions regarding EPM in terms of when you explain it to, say, friends, family, or other people out there? What do you do?
For sure, when I used to say in early days that I'm an EPM consultant, people were like, "What is this?" We know Java, we know .NET, we know PHP, we know web development, we know software development. What is this EPM is all about? And at that point of time, yeah, I used to explain with a saying that, okay, any company has the financial reports, like P&L, balance sheet, those kind of reports. I'm the one who is working on those softwares which generate these reports. And that's how I used to explain them. Yeah. And sometimes when I was working, I used to see that EPM is also about, at least the misconception was that it's all about Excel performance management,
Mm, mm.
because most of the financial closing processes were happening in Excel. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I would say, yeah, these are the kind of misconceptions, yeah, which was happening around, yeah, when I was starting my journey.
Cool. So, what's been your most significant challenge in EPM, and how did you solve it?
Initially, I would say my biggest challenges were, from the technology perspective, that okay, how do I make the consolidation cycle more faster? What do I do in my HFM rules, or how do I do better integrations? Yeah. But over the time, when I became manager, when I was doing more client-facing roles, I think the biggest challenge which comes to my way was always about, adoption of the EPM implementation itself.
Sure.
So that being said, people in business community, people in finance community, they are more used to work on Excel, yeah, and do the processes which they were doing manually. So it was taking, I would say, some time, to do this change management, to explain them why we are doing this, yeah, and how it can help you out. So communication and training were the key. But I think gradually people understood how EPM tools or technologies can help them do their financial closes or planning processes much effectively than what they were doing earlier.
Cool. So could you share a standout success story in your career?
um, I would say from the perspective of memorable stories or standout stories. I mean, one of the leading client in Scotland is always my first client, so it is always memorable for me.
Mm,
Where I was working for almost 4 years. Yeah, it was a big, large transformation project. Where we help them in automating the manual processing of collecting the supplementary data, and now towards HFM. And we, I think, reduced the timing. It was taking by almost 50%. Yeah, so that was one of the success story or memorable stories which I have in my mind. And at the same time, I worked on. When I joined ENY in Belgium, I work on one of the biggest merger of two big breweries in the world. Yeah,
right.
and that was amazing project as well. We were working with a lot of legacy consolidation systems or different local consolidation systems. We put down all of them into a group consolidation system. Yeah, so this was very I would say great experience for me, working with different consolidation systems. Yeah, working with teams. Some people were in Latin America, some people were in European region, some in Asia. Some teams were working in Australia.
Mhm.
So it was enriching experience for me on my side.
Cool. So what's the most rewarding aspect of what you do personally?
Personally, I think I always I'm client centric. Yeah, so for me, the reward is not a money as such, but the reward is that whatever I develop or whatever I build is useful for my clients. It is being used by the organizations. Yeah, and when you see those transition from manual processes to automation, yeah, and utilizing this latest innovative technologies,
Mhm.
then I feel so much satisfied on my side, looking at the client value we generated. Yeah, and also I think we are in a niche area of
Mhm.
EPM. Yeah, where
Mhm.
we get to meet a lot of people like CFOs, group finance directors, and so
Sure.
on. So these are kind of rewards I can think of.
Okay. So have you got any unexpected moments or funny stories that you can share from your career?
Yes, definitely. It happens a lot. Yeah, when sometimes you have to deal with unexpected situations. I remember, when I was working for one of my clients here in Belgium, um, we were into vendor selection process where we were dealing with some of the industry leaders at that point of time, plus also some local vendors. And I remember Tegetic was starting at that point of time. Yeah. So when I was during this presentation, yeah, what happened is one of the leading player didn't come with full preparations of the demo.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, and yeah, we were preferring. I was pushing for this particular vendor to the client, and at the end of the day, the vendor has to draw everything on the whiteboards and
right,
explain the processes into Excel because they were not ready with the demos. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's where I would say it was also a learning experience. Yeah, that
yeah.
when you go to the vendor selection process, you talk to client and workshops, come with the full demo preparations. Yeah, and at that point of time, Tegetic did quite well. Yeah, they were full prepared. All the scenarios you talk about, they have it in the system. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
so that was very, I would say, funny. Yeah, that we were not prepared, or at least the vendor was not prepared with the demo. But at the same time, learning experience as well.
Fantastic. So in terms of you were successful in what you did, but what
Mhm.
inspired you to start your own consultancy? Yeah.
To be honest, I worked with all the major consultancies. Yeah, or I was in touch with a lot of consultancy companies as well. But I started my own consultancy is because of my aspirations and also the way of working towards the client. Yeah, because when I started my career, the first thing they taught me is customer is king. Yeah, and when I was working back then with consultancies, I felt that it was focused towards particular scope. It was very limited. Yeah,
Yes.
and at the same time, it was more towards I would say specific technologies itself,
Mm,
where
mm,
I saw that market was changing, evolving. So I needed a kind of an independent, I would say, entity for me personally.
sure.
And I also wanted to build a community of people, who
Yes.
thinks the same, who are like-minded, who believe in results, yeah, who believe in delivering the value to the clients.
Fantastic. So,
Mm.
as you know, the industry is very competitive. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of trends. How do you keep updated? How do you keep your research going?
To be honest, I use our EPM community groups, yeah, which is there
Okay.
on WhatsApp, and also I follow, quite influencers like you on LinkedIn, yeah, to keep myself up to date with the latest trends, to understand the opinion, yeah, about various products or solutions available in the market. Sometimes I also go for events which are
Mhm.
sponsored or organized by vendors where they talk about latest trends or new changes they are doing into the system. And I also keep reading various blogs and also follow Gartner's quadrant, yeah, to
Right. Yes.
understand
Mhm.
uh, what things are changing or which are the companies which is improvising, from the previous year to this year, and so on. Because this gives a significant trust to the client as well, if we talk about Gartner's quadrant.
Sure. So,
Mm.
what's your key advice for people coming to the industry or novices or people trying to learn more about their
Mm,
products?
I would say, you know, uh, if you are starting into EPM field, the first thing, okay, you should understand the fundamentals of EPM processes, and you should understand the technologies. But I guess what they should do is that they should also get knowledge on the finance processes
Yeah.
itself. So this is something I was missing at the beginning. I was more focused towards technology, yeah.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Belgium and I was doing more client-facing roles, I realized that no, I need to know the finance processes, finance close processes, planning processes, and so on, to talk to them in the same language. Then I can understand the pain.
Yeah.
So this is one of the advice I can give. At the same time, now we are living in a digital world where
Yeah.
you can easily access people, yeah, via WhatsApp, via LinkedIn, and so on. So I would suggest get a mentor. If you don't know what to do, get a mentor out there, or
Sure.
listen to the influencers which are doing good job in the industry, yeah. And yeah, the last would be keep yourself agile, yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
ATCON stands for, Agile Technology Consulting.
Mhm.
Because back then
Um,
I remember people were more focused towards, yeah, be the expert in one
mm,
industry or be the expert in one tool.
mm,
Now I feel that market is changing. It is not about being one expert to a particular tool, but you be the expert of domain. And during the process, you will have to learn new technologies probably.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So be open to that, change. Be open to adapt something new.
Okay. Thank you so much there. So, of course, the industry is evolving, even the
Mhm.
last year or so evolving. In terms of your mind, what do you think will be happening in the next 5 years or so?
I think in next 5 to 10 years, we are seeing the significant change of next gen innovation technologies coming into play in EPM play. I would say people would be talking about more real time data processing. The decisions would be more data driven, I would say. But at the same time, with the help of next gen innovations like AI,
Yes.
machine learning,
Mhm.
RPA. I would say this is also I'm seeing a lot now in finance functions,
Sure.
and recently I started seeing virtual reality. Yeah,
Ah,
so people with the glass, yeah, of VR
mm,
glass, they are looking at the financial reports with the hand
interesting.
movements. So I see those kind of things, coming to the play in the
Sure.
market, and
Mm,
obviously it will help us in many ways, improvising our efficiency, probably doing the stuff which we were not able to do it alone back then.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Now I use ChatGPT day in, day out, to do my job.
Yeah, yeah.
So I see this change is happening in the market.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ankit, for today's podcast. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for the insights and also your career chronicles and
Mhm.
confessions. And talk to you very much soon.
Thank you so much, Tim, and
Thank
wish
you.
you a very nice weekend ahead.
Thank you.